Hello students, uh, in this video I will discuss the remaining part of Mother's Day, the drama. In some of my early videos I have discussed a part of the drama, the textual part of the drama Mother's Day, and I hope you remembered up to that. In this video, with the entrance of George Pearson, how Mrs. Pearson will react and the consequence I will discuss regarding that. So please follow and please continue. George Pearson enters left. He is about 50. Fundamentally decent, we know that he has been referred as Pompey Pearson also, but solemn, self-important. He is always very much self-concerned. He is not at all interested to look after his wife or what problem she faces, and he doesn't have any time to spend with Mrs. Pearson. He likes to go to the party, though he was bullied indirectly, still he goes there for drinking, for merrymaking, despite knowing the fact that not only his friends, even the bartender mocks at him by calling him Pompey Pearson, but still he goes. Preferably he should be a heavy, slow moving type. He notices Doris's tears. He enters. We all already know that how Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald, they had changed personalities, changed bodies. We know about that. We know about Mrs. Fitzgerald's magic, what she did. Why? Because she wanted to rectify the mannerisms, the behaviors of Mrs. Pearson's family members. We have heard about it. Now let's see the dialogues. George Pearson enters. He is about 50, fundamentally decent but solemn, self-important, pompous. Preferably he should be a heavy, slow-moving type. He notices Doris's tears. Now, the first dialogue of George Pearson. Hello, what's this? Can't be anything to cry about, because he saw Doris, his daughter, is crying. Doris, you will see why I am crying like this. You will get to know about it. Doris runs out left with a sob or two on the way. George stares after her a moment, then looks at Mrs. Pearson, because George is totally surprised that what exactly happened, why my daughter is crying in this manner. He has no idea yet, but he will get idea very soon. Doris runs out left with a sob or two on the way. George stares after her a moment, then looks at Mrs. Pearson. George, did she say you will see? Mrs. Pearson, we know that it is not actually Mrs. Pearson, it is Mrs. Fitzgerald. Yes. George, what did she mean? Mrs. Pearson, better ask her. George looks slowly again at the door, then at Mrs. Pearson. Then he notices the stout, that is the wine that Mrs. Pearson was drinking, that Mrs. Pearson raises for another sip. His eyes almost bulge. Bulge, B-U-L-G. Bulge means to come out of its sockets. S-O-C-K-E-T-S. Eyes are about to come out of its sockets. That is the meaning of the term bulge. George, stout? Mrs. Pearson, yes. George, what are you drinking stout for? Now, why you are drinking? And what is the reason for drinking stout? Because I fancied some. Yes, because I liked it. So I am drinking. George, at this time of day, you are drinking now, at this time. Mrs. Pearson, yes. What's wrong with it? At this time of day, what is the wrong with it? Any problem or any harm? George, bewildered, or rather to say totally surprised. Nothing, I suppose, any. But I have never seen you do it before. I never have seen you drink before. So I am a bit surprised. Well, you are seeing me now. You haven't seen before, but now you are seeing it. Now you might be thinking, dear students, that why she is talking in a very rude manner. The thing is that it was Mrs. Pearson's target only to give the family members of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Target was to provide the family members of Mrs. Pearson a taste of their own bitter medicine, and that is what she is doing. So I repeat, well, yes, and I don't like it. It doesn't look right. I am surprised at you. Now George is saying that I am not liking it. You are drinking because I haven't seen you in this way, and I am not liking it at all. Well, you are seeing me now, and you must like it. Well, that ought to be a nice change for you. Ought means supposed. Yes, it ought to be a nice change for you. You haven't seen previously, now you are seeing. It must be a nice change for you. What do you mean? Mrs. Pearson, it must be some time since you were surprised at me, George. At least now you are concerned about me. That is the big thing, George. Previously, you never cared about me. At least my wine drinking that I am drinking at this moment, it made you a bit conscious towards me, a bit concerned towards me. That is the positive thing. I like that. George with heavy distaste. Yes, and I don't like it. I am surprised at you. Yes, but fine, but I am surprised and I don't like it at all. Mrs. Pearson, well, that ought to be a nice change for you. What do you mean? It must be some time since you were surprised at me, George. It must be some time since you were surprised. At least you are looking at me. That's the big thing. George, I don't like surprises. I am all for a steady going on. Yes, I don't like any sort of surprises. I prefer a smooth life. I don't like surprises so much. You ought to know that by this time. Yes, we are married for many years. You should know my nature by this time. By the way, I forgot to tell you this morning, I wouldn't want any tea. Special snooker match night at the club tonight. Yes, I don't want any tea because there is special snooker match at the club tonight. So you don't have to prepare any tea for me. Mrs. Pearson, that's all right. There isn't any. I haven't prepared also. So don't take any more tension. Now let's continue. George, surprised or astonished. You mean you didn't get any ready? Yes, and a good thing too, as it's turned out. Yes, I haven't prepared. George, that's all very well, but suppose I had wanted some, but you haven't prepared. Okay, today I have some invitation at the club, but if I would not have an invitation and still you haven't prepared, then now Mrs. Pearson is ready to fire at him back. So see the next dialogue, that will make it clear for you all. You mean you didn't get any ready? Yes, and the good thing too, as it turned out. My goodness, listen to the man. I already told you, she is ready to backfire at him. Annoyed because I don't get a tea for him that he doesn't even want. Ever tried that at the club? Have you tried this sort of things at the club also? Have you tried it? George, tried what at the club? Going up to the bar and telling them you don't want a glass of beer, but you are annoyed because they haven't already poured it out. Try that on them and see what you get. Have you tried this type of idiotic things at the club? That you don't need a glass of wine or a beer, then again you are asking that please give me a glass of beer. Why haven't you poured a glass of beer in my table? Have you said all these things at the club? Just say it once, then you will realize what does it means. I don't know what you are talking about. Mrs. Pearson, they would laugh at you even more than they do now. Yes, you are obviously their laughing stock, and if you do all this type of idiotic behavior, they will laugh at you more than they are laughing at you right now. George, laugh at me? They don't laugh at me. What you are trying to say? They don't laugh at me. They respect me. They admire me. Mrs. Pearson, of course they do. You don't have that intelligence to understand it. You ought to have found that out by this time. By this time, you must have discovered it. You haven't? It's your fault. Anybody else would have done. You are one of their standing jokes, famous. They call you Pompey Pearson because they think you are so slow and pompous. Yes, they call you Pompey Pearson behind your back. You know why? Because you are slow and you are pompous. George is horrified. Never. What you are talking about? They never call me Pompey Pearson. And who told you that I am the laughing stock of them at the bar at the party? I don't think so. George, never. Mrs. Pearson, it's always beaten me why you should want to spend so much time at a place where they are always laughing at you behind your back and calling you names. Now I'm surprised. I don't have any sort of idea why you spend so much time with them instead of spending time in your own family, whereas there at the club you are the laughing stock. I don't have any idea why you spend so much time there, despite you are a person who is not at all respected or revered, who is the one who is actually the laughing stock, because they all ridicule you. You don't know it. Leaving your wife at home, I don't know why you spend so much time with them. Night after night you are with them instead of going out with her, who doesn't make you look like a fool. Instead of spending time with your wife, going out with her, spending some quality time with your wife, why you always go to the club? I have no calculation. It is very hard to understand that why you are like this. Now this is a huge insult to George. Cyril enters right. Now the son enters with a glass of milk in one hand and a thick slice means a piece of cake, in the other. George, almost dazed, turns to him appealingly. Now Cyril enters with a glass of milk and a piece of bread. That means he helped himself and prepared something by going to the kitchen room. Now 3 characters are there on the stage. Cyril, who entered right now, George and Mrs. Pearson. That is Mrs. Fitzgerald. We know that personalities change bodies. In this video, I end here only. In my next video, I will continue from the very next dialogue. Dear students, kindly go through this video and listen to it and clarify your doubts if you have any. Thank you, students. Thank you all.